Hey guys. So, in theory, you should be able to hear me now. This is a new setup, so let's see if this works. Oh, the camera's there. I have multiple cameras, so yeah. Just waiting to see if anyone can confirm they can actually hear me. I see the bars moving, but... Nice. Oh, the whole family's here. Cool. Okay, so welcome. I thought, hey, I need to solder some new QuinLED-Dig-Unos. This is the revision... Well, actually, this isn't the revision 4 prototype. And I recently got those boards in, so I need to build a few to test them. And, well, this is the revision 4. So I thought, okay, well, let's do a live soldering stream again. And I worked on my camera so that, well, it's really close by now. So I think everyone should be able to, you know, see what's going on. Yeah, I know Eurovision Song Festival is on, but you can choose what to watch. You can either watch me solder some boards, or you can, I don't know, watch some bad music. Okay, so I'm just going to start with these boards, and, well, as like the previous time, any questions surrounding the subjects of my channel are welcome. And let's hang out for a bit. Bad soldering. Well, I'd love to see your soldering, Victor Bart. Oh, these boards are hard to break. Okay. Okay. Have to do a little cleanup because of the mouse bites. You can either order boards at 10 by 10 or at 5 by 5, and in the 5 by 5 size you get 1, but with the 10 by 10 you get 4, and that's only like a few dollars more expensive, so that's why I got the 10 by 10s. But most people will order the 5 by 5s because then, well, it's a bit cheaper and they still get like 12, 13 boards, so... So I actually have a Dig-Uno running right now. It's doing a test, and it's over here in this string. This string is currently controlled using X lights, so the lighting data is transferred over the Wi-Fi network, and that's been working really well for the past several days. So, but although I'm soldering the QuinLEDs, that doesn't just have to be the topic. We can talk about lots of things. So, too small for my old eyes. Come, do you even know how small these things are? I mean, look at them in comparison to my face. This is how big they are, and then I rigged up a camera that shows them this big. I mean, yeah, I don't think I can get them even bigger on the screen. So. 41 people watching, nice. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, have to trim this a little bit. So music and everything is okay too. I know it's a bit louder than it normally was, but I have it set so that when I'm talking, it should lower its volume automatically, and then when I stop talking, it becomes a bit louder again, so you can, you know, enjoy the music a little bit. Talk about ZFS servers. Well, we can do that. That's fun. Yeah, well, Victor Bart's been building his server, and I have a server build coming up. I'm slowly gathering components for that. And that's been going really well. I've actually found some companies who are willing to sponsor some parts of the server next to the chassis. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's telling him, Emil Bart, get a bigger screen. There we go. Nice. 49-inch big TV. Yeah, that should work. Let's see what do we need? I haven't soldered this board many times myself yet, so I need to check. Okay. We need at least 2 of those. Maybe more. Don't know yet. Okay, thanks, Emil. I've been testing this all afternoon, and I think it's working, but you never know once you go live. So, capacitors. So I've also been working on all the hardware pages and configuration pages and stuff like that for this little board. 2 times. Another one. Okay. Yeah, so ZFS. Yeah, well, I used Proxmox on most of my servers, as you've seen previously on the channel. And this is not what I need. The new server will be running Proxmox 2. And it'll basically consist of the old parts from my desktop, but then giving new life into a new server. But I'm waiting to build it because I want to build it using... Well, actually, I want to upgrade my desktop to the new Ryzen 3000 series. And when Ryzen 1000 launched, it was out by the time this year. And the Ryzen 3000 isn't yet. So... kind of miscalculated on that, or well, not miscalculated, but it's taking longer than I expected it to. But it'll get there, and I might do a component update video in a bit. But have you completely ditched domotics for Home Assistant now? I wish I could say yes, but I've been postponing it because of 2 reasons. A, it's working, and it's all the lighting in the house I have, except for the garage and studios and stuff like that. And B, although the Quad and Deca are great, you need to use external, or you can use external fuses with that. And I had an idea in mind for a much bigger board, which I'm currently developing. And I think once I have that, I will switch fully to Home Assistant. But parts of my home are already running over Home Assistant. So I'm kind of in a, I don't know, home automation hybrid setup, I guess. Yeah. So parts of this I will solder using normal hand soldering, and parts I will solder using paste and a hot air gun, because actually it's a lot easier. But it's hard to just have me tell about some stuff, about ZFS. Direct questions are better while I'm doing other stuff. So I'm just wondering, I'm biased, right? Why did you switch? It's a good question. I liked domotics, and it's easier to get started with than Home Assistant because of how you can easily set up switches and automations and Blockly and stuff like that. But nowadays it seemed that the development for Home Assistant, of which Frank is a big part, it accelerated way beyond what domotics was doing, and stuff like ESP Home hooking into MQTT, because MQTT with domotics is a bit harder, and ESP Home, and then having the native API and all those progressions really made me invest the time to learn Home Assistant, and then I liked it, and I'm switching, and things like Node-RED, etc. make a good companion where automations and text files can be daunting for people. Once you figure out a little bit how Node-RED works, I think that combined with Home Assistant makes a very great and versatile platform. So that's why I switched, or why I'm switching. Oh, the paste is coming out. So I have my syringe. Well, you can see the type number. I was hoping I have enough light because it's still light outside. And let's hope my studio lights are bright enough. I think so, but you can actually see the camera that's pointing at my board over here. It's one of my IP cameras I've been testing, and well, I think it's doing good. Thanks for explaining that. I find it interesting to know why. Anything you were missing? I guess an easy way to set up in domotics, I just have very simple rules. I make a scene, and I call that living room evening. I add some LED strips to it, and I set the values that it should assume, and then I say activate this 1 hour before sunup or sundown, and then I have living room morning and living room night, and living room night toggles them to night mode, and living room normal morning turns them off, basically. And that's just very easy to configure, and it's harder in Home Assistant because of the automations and how that's integrated. What is a good Full HD IP camera? Full HD, I don't know, Victor. I mostly do in 4K nowadays, so I think I have some good advice or examples. There's these Starlight models which do well during the dark, but what type of IP camera you should get is very dependent on the situation you're going to put it in. So, yeah, cap 10. Okay. So I'm just going to put some paste down on this board. Okay, don't need that one. Yeah, need this one. And for people who know how to solder well, this will be very cringeworthy, because I don't do soldering very well. Was that old paste that came out? There we go. So the fun thing is with hot air soldering, if you make a bridge like that, it doesn't really matter because the surface tension will pull the paste and, well, later the solder tin towards the pads anyway. So that makes it nice and easy. Okay, we need a cap here. No. Making kind of a mess of it. Okay, and then we need some on these big pads. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, I try to, I don't know, give a little bit back to the community with my videos, and I think they're well received, as you said, so that's nice. I like making them, so. They take a lot of time because of all the effort that goes into them, but once, they're kind of timeless content, so once they're there, people can find them, and even in a year, they'll still be relevant, so that's nice. So I don't mind the time that goes into it. Yeah, okay, let's place some components. That's a 10. Oh man, I really didn't do a great job if that's solder based. Oh well. Yeah, timeless content is, I don't mind investing a bit more time into that. But there's something to be said for current content and timeless content. I think a mix on your channel is always best to keep things going and keep it fresh too. And then we need a 10. Oh, I made such a mess of this. There. This is a 4.7 resistor. If you're looking at this, and you guys are actually looking at this closer by than I am, you're probably thinking, holy shit, that all looks crooked and that's never going to work. But that's the nice thing about hot air soldering. It probably will be okay. But I'm by no measure an expert. You try to use a stencil. Yeah, stencils will make it easier, but I'm still prototyping the board, and I don't want to cost the stencil each time I make a revision. Once I do make the final revision, I might make a stencil, but on the other hand, only parts of the components are surface mount, and then it's kind of a waste again, so it's... Oh. So I don't know yet, and I might transition to surface mount at some point, but then again, I want to keep these boards DIY friendly, and all this stuff is still easily done by hand. Choices. 53 people watching. I think that's a record. Welcome everyone. We're just hanging out, and I'm badly soldering some stuff. So if you have any questions, just hit them up in the chat. A 3D printed one? You mean a 3D printed stencil? I didn't even think about doing that. That's cool. So these are SS12. Yeah, and that goes there. Oh, no. Okay. So I've been experimenting on this board with reverse polarity input and output protection, so that even when you hook up everything the wrong way around, in theory, only the fuse should explode and not the rest of your components. And I've been testing that already, but that's partly why I need more boards. Not that the boards blew up, but I want to do different tests. But that's been working really well. Haven't fried an ESP yet, and trust me, I've done so in the past. There's a hair on the board. Hi, Jogran? I don't know. Jogran and Tectonic. Welcome. Okay, let's just blast this with hot air and see what happens. And if it all goes wrong, well, I have lots of spares. I guess you guys get to watch close up. Probably gonna be a little bit of smoke. Oh, and probably the ventilator. The fan is a bit close to the microphone, but Oh, look at that. That's why I love hot air soldering. Come on, yeah, nice. Nope, tombstone that one. There we go. I'll look in the chat in a minute after I finish this in one go. There we go, very nice. See, although it looks like a giant mess in the beginning, it actually kind of fixes itself in the end. Temp is currently at 370. That's a little bit high, but I've noticed that that works well with this paste. So we have a little solder bridge here. There we go. Oh, don't push any keys, soldering gun. No, the components are rated for handling that kind of temperature for a little bit. Maybe not the way I'm doing it. That's well, I think it's still within specifications, but that's not the best way of doing things. But the components should be fine. So these are all passives anyway, and they can take some heat. So never seen if they just float into place. Yeah, that's because of the surface tension. So basically, the pads just pull them towards each other or themselves, and that's why you don't really have to pay too close attention to align them because they'll align themselves. And as you can see here, for instance, this pad got tinned, and that wasn't intended, but that isn't a problem either. So yeah. All English speakers are troll with my name. Okay. Yeah, I'll allow that link. My headphone wire isn't that long. There we go. Link should appear now. Okay, so that was all the surface mount components. Let me double check. Yeah, so the board has room for 2 pull-ups and 2 pull-downs for the external pins. And I'm not populating them right now because I don't have a purpose for the external GPIOs right now. But for instance, if you wanted to hook up an external switch or a motion detection or something else, you could use one of these external GPIO pins. We'll be soldering on later on. And then you can still use a pull up or pull high. So there's 2 pull ups and 2 pull downs. And yeah, that's just for flexibility. $57 people. Oh, where's that? So now we're going to switch from the hot air to, I guess, normal soldering or iron soldering or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to do a little experiment with that because this is my roll of solder. And yeah, there is not much left. If any at all. So we're going to I had a kit from CampZone. At CampZone we do workshops and tutorials and stuff like that, and a certain brand sponsored us. This video isn't sponsored, but they gave me some soldering samples, and I thought was like okay, well, I'm going to try out some stuff today anyway, so let's give these a try. So they're different types, and they have little cards what they mean and stuff like that. But I'm just going to try them all. And I'm going to start with this one sounds nice, the Cristal 511. It's 1 millimeter, so it's a bit thick, but I think I can make it work. So let's see. Uh-oh. What do you mean we lost him? What's going on? So refreshing fixes it? Huh. It does. That's strange. You heading out, Frank? Thanks for coming by. Or are you just joking? Oh, well, okay, maybe something on the YouTube side. It's saying 0.0% drop frames over here, so not sure what happened. But I was telling about different solder samples I have, and I'll be testing those out because I ran out of solder. Okay. Ah, okay, so some people had it frozen and others it's working fine. Okay. What should we do next? Let's solder on the level shifter. It seems for all the Dutch people it stopped. That's odd. Maybe a Dutch YouTube server crashed, I don't know. So, anyone have any questions? Okay, the level shifter goes here. We have to bend the pin slightly. There we go. And yeah, I wonder how well this solder will work. Will this board run Crysis? Actually, if you wanted to, it sort of can. You can hook up these matrix LED panels, and then you can run a video of Crysis. Hey, Blue Crazy, or Blue Crazy. Oh, that's right. I wanted to. I forgot to do something. There we go. So let's see if this will melt on the tip. Oh, wait a minute. It did it again. Or at least my preview window on my second PC is currently frozen. Can you guys still see me? That's so strange. Well, that is kind of annoying. Yeah, but let's hope this doesn't happen too often, because that can get annoying. Oh wow, this melts really fast. Wow. Oh, my soldering iron might be set too high. No. It's already annoying. Yeah, well, I'm not sure what to do about it right now. No. Okay. This paste doesn't make very nice shiny mounts, but it seems to adhere well. So, should be fine. Yeah, thanks, Colin. Let's hope so. I have the bitrate that I'm streaming set a bit high, it's 10 megabits. But I'm also streaming in 1440p, so I was like, well, you have to give it a few megabits. But that might be it. I don't know. I do think this is the best soldering cam I've had in ever. Yeah, I know I should use a vise, but every time I use the official ways, I end up not liking it most of the time. You need to print a PCB vise. That's a good idea. Then it would be custom sized. All kinds of good ideas tonight. Thanks. These solder joints look weird. But I guess it's soldered. I mean... So, any good questions? We have 44 people in here. And it doesn't have to be about the QuinLEDs or stuff like that. You can ask me, you know, whatever your channel-related things are. But direct questions are best. So, let's see. What do we do next? I think it's pin headers. Come on. How much new ideas do you have for your house? Are you using ESP Home if your original QuinLEDs? Let me answer that one first. Yes, I am. I have some QuinLEDs OGs, which I converted to ESP Home, and now I'm using those in Home Assistant, and that works fine. And how many new ideas do you have for your house? Well, there's just stuff I want to do, and I want to improve the lighting, and I want to improve the thermostat shite, and I wanted to improve the humidity in the bathroom, so I made a video about that. And I'm slowly working up to that, and you know, there's some projects now and then that I think other people might be interested in too, so that's what I'm making little movies about. And it's like, okay, well, I did this, so let's make a tutorial for others. Nope, this one goes here. Do you know of a barrel connector that can be soldered on your QuinLED boards? No, I use terminals because I like those better, and you have these little plugs. Let me get one for you. There we go. So you have these and the counterpart for that, and those are basically wire to barrel connectors. So if you rather use a barrel connector anyway, you can just take a piece of I use 2.5 millimeter square solid wire and put that into the terminals, and then use your power supply with a jack on that. Does that explain your, or give an answer to your question? I mean, you know, I use barrels on some that I don't put a lot of volt or amperage through, but I'm always kind of worried that using one of those barrel plugs, the internal wiring might be pretty small, And when I use a terminal, I at least know I can put like 10 or 15 amps through it. So that's why I put terminal on the boards. Yeah, if it's working, it's working. I hope you keep... Yeah, I'll upload a video with an archive of the stream so you can always watch back. Let me see if I'm doing everything in the right order. Let's go to here. I think so. Now let me use my little trick. Oh, trick didn't work, damn it. Wait, I have to check something. I always forget if the terminals are higher than the standoffs or the other way around. So let's put them on there and just see. The terminals are higher, so they go on later. There we go. No, this one isn't straight. Oh, that must have looked weird on the camera, sorry. Okay, that should be good. So now let's try, I don't know, this solder. Oh, sorry about hitting the microphone. Strange. So, is anyone watching Eurovision? Are we winning? Or horribly losing like normally? Should be good. Okay. The UK always loses. Well, the Netherlands isn't that far behind. This is such odd solder. I mean, it solders fine, it melts very quickly. But then it leaves this weird... Well, it's not a shiny surface like I'm used to. Is there any people here who joined last time too? Last live stream? Hey, Paul. Welcome to the stream, man. You missed it, or, well, you were there last time, I think, but only for a short while. Okay, that's those. And I think we can then put on some terminals. Or do we need to put on the fuse holders? Where did I, there we go. Not a question, but some feedback. I've been watching a lot of your videos. First time watching your stream. Something I noticed on your videos, I think you have a script. I think your comment got cut off, or... Kevin? Oh, filming. I think you don't want us to know that, so you keep moving your hand around every couple of seconds, which is quite distracting. Don't get me wrong, I really like the vids. I don't... And you don't seem to do it now? Ah, okay. Well, yes, I do actually. For the tutorial videos, I do use a script. But for the past 2 videos, I've been doing something different. And I was already wondering if people had noticed. For the past 2 videos, I used a teleprompter. So that's a device where you have the camera actually behind a piece of glass, and on that glass your script is projected, and then I'm literally reading that script while looking through the text into the camera. But that's only been the last 2 tutorial videos. Before that, I used to do it basically from head, but then I'd have to stop every few seconds or a few sentences to read what I was going to say and then start the video again. With the teleprompter, I can just keep going because I can read while watching and recording at the same time. Ah, I didn't know there was a character limit. Okay. So, is it only in the last 2 videos that you've noticed it being different, or that you find annoying, or was it before that too? Well, Emil's doing all kinds of things at the same time. Okay, well, we've used the 2 red solders, and those give those strange dried up look. So let's use some of these green packets. Cristal 400 and HF32. Okay, let's use the Cristal. That sounds expensive. What were we soldering? Oh, I forgot to solder this completely. Let me finish that. I need a bit more flux. No, before. Haven't seen the latest ones yet. That's okay, Dextron. You haven't missed much. We're just talking and hanging out, soldering a board. Let's put some flux on there. Kester solder for me. Get one of the big spools and you'll never have to buy one for the rest of your life. Yeah, I actually finished this one recently. That's why I'm trying different samples I have. Yeah, Kevin, check out my most recent Home Assistant tutorial videos. The last 2 of those have been made using a script and a teleprompter. And I wonder if that makes it any different for you. Because I think after testing it for 2 videos, I kind of like it for my workflow because it saves me a bit of time, because I don't have to learn everything from the script out of my head and say it like 15 times until I get it right, because I can just read it from the screen. Okay, time to solder these big ones. And since these are connected to the planes, I need to sink in a lot of heat. Come on, little pad, you can do it. Or actually, soldering station, you can do it. Do you already have enough content for a nice blooper reel? Well, I think I could do a longer blooper reel per video than actual content. So, I don't know about that. Don't know about this either. We'll see. Come on, little solder pad. There we go. So this solder seems to stay a little bit more shiny. The Crystal 400. Oh, wait. Kester solder. Yeah, I've heard that's good. But yeah, I haven't bought anything new yet, so I'll look into that. And probably indeed buy a big spool, so I'm set for life. But yeah. As I said, I had these samples anyway, so it's fun to try them out. Oh, you need to sink in so much heat into these ground-connected pads. Satisfactory, yeah. I've played that too, but I always have a choice. I can either play a game or work on a video. So I kind of have to balance my time there. But I think in the end I got to tier 6, the last tier. And then I said, okay, I need to stop playing this for a while until they bring out some really nice updates, and then I might look at it again. I might need more heat, so let's see if this works. Yeah, let me turn up the soldering iron. There's just too much ground plane here. Come on. There we go. Nice, okay. And these are the hardest connections on the board to solder, because it just needs so much heat. Okay, oh, nice. Aw, thanks, Paul. That's cool. That's my first super chat ever, I think. Yeah, well, I think that is my first super chat ever. That's really appreciated. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching me share my knowledge and experience. Oh, you have to do it all again, Blue Crazy? Well, Satisfactory is a game where once you do it, if you do it again, you're like, I'm gonna do it so much better this time, and then it turns out and it turns into a giant mess anyway. But still, I like playing those games where you have to think of your own design and have to do it again. That's also why I call like designing these boards. It's like, I don't know, puzzling for adults, because you have the green and the red lines, and those can cross, but the same color can't cross, and you have to make some thicker than others, and yeah, it's fun. Okay, so let's solder this fuse holder on there. What kind of soldering iron do you use, and how much heat are you using? This is a IUA INT 3210, and it's a digitally controlled soldering iron, and I normally have it set to about 350, 360 degrees, but it kind of depends. If it's a big ground-connected pad like this, I might raise it up to 400 to be able to soak in some more heat quickly. Or more quickly, or whatever, faster. So these pads can be hard. So right now we're using the HF32 soldering tin. Oh, this one. Oh. Might have gone some in my eye. I don't know. This one flows nice. Oh, there's a lot of flux in there. Holy shit. Yeah, this is one of those ground connected pads again. Okay. My soldering wire is actually stuck to the pad. Come on, heat. You can... Oh, there we go. You can do it. Could make a whole funny video about that. Battling of the solder pads. "50 people watching. Wow. Well, I guess it's better than doing this alone." I was like, okay, I want to solder one or two of these boards today, and I was like, if I'm gonna do that, I can just as well live stream. So I spent the whole afternoon preparing the live stream, and I could have finished 8 boards in that time, but you know, I'd rather hang out with you guys too. So okay, that's all been soldered. It doesn't look that great, but it'll work. Okay. Oh, did I do that in the right order? I guess so. We'll see. So, are we going to put on a Wemos D1 Mini, which is this, or are we going to put on a Wemos D32, or MHET, or whatever you want to call it? $63.37. Let me see what this is actually. So these are 95.5. 95. Interesting. Yeah, so these are all very different. So I guess these are all leadless. Maybe that's the clue. Because the Kester still has lead in it, right, Paul? It's behind my face cam. Oh. Yeah, I really figured you were waiting on those. It should be the desk cam is often about 1 second behind the face cam, so there's a bit of delay there. That's true. You have your soldering iron set to 390. Well, as I think that might be because these are all leadless, and if you use leadless solder, you might need a much higher temperature than you did for solder that uses lead. So that might be it. What's the advantage of using... Oh, you can post that. Hold on. There we go. What's the advantage of using an ESP32 over an ESP8266 for QuinLED? Well, that's mainly for the analog boards. You can use a much higher PWM frequency. So QuinLED OG with an 8266 was limited to 1000 Hertz. And on the Quad and Deca, which use a 32, I'm running them anywhere from 40,000 to 120,000 Hertz. So if you're doing video work like this, that can be very important. And also, like on the Deca, I'm using 10 outputs. And the ESP32 has some other advantages. If you're using like the GPIO pins for some sensors and other stuff, an 8266 might have interrupted Wi-Fi traffic and flickering and stuff like that, where an ESP32 has much more processing power. So it can handle all those things in parallel. It even has 2 cores. So, yeah, those are the main reasons, I guess. What am I gonna solder on? I'm gonna go 8266. If I do another one, I'll do a 32 on there. A non-shiny finish. Well, then this is leadless solder. That's been confirmed by this. Okay, so these are all leadless samples. Interesting. So, what's the main advantage of going leadless for a hobbyist? I mean, is there any? Except that lead is, of course, poisonous, but other than that, which, yeah, that's a bad reason. Okay, doing it this way, those pin header sockets automatically align, and they basically always go on straight. When I didn't do it this way, that certainly wasn't the case. Environmentally friendly, yeah, I can get behind that, but I don't know how much that matters for a hobbyist at home like me or you guys. But yeah. Well, if you're using an 8266, that can work very well. Except if you wanted to do more things than just provide PWM for your LED strip. Because as I said, the OG uses an 8266 and that works fine. It's just that when you ask it to do more stuff at the same time, it can become a problem. So, okay. Welcome to Janky Soldering I Don't Have a Rig. I basically just prop it up with anything I have lying around. Okay, let's solder those. I don't know, let's try more of this HF32. Come on. Okay, don't like that. Okay. Quinner's janktastic. Hey, like Jay's 2 cents says, don't do as I do as I say. Yeah, that would apply to me too. Oh, I like this Crystal 400. Seems a bit better. Juniper had to do a new revision of the EX4200 just to be able to import new stock in the EU. Oh, wow. Okay, didn't know that. Thanks, Fabian. Cool. Yeah, well, Linus does that. Linus is a very good example of that, too. That's true. They're fun channels to watch, so... Oh, wow, this works a lot better. Still, I don't know, I might get both. I don't know, some leadless and leaded solder. Because I'm having a much harder time soldering this than I had before with my other stuff. Come on. Oh, come on. You see that? Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay. This, I guess this needs flux. Lots of flux. Can't have too much flux. There we go. Oh. See if that corrects those. No, damn it. You guys see that? It just sticks to the iron. Yeah, I might be going back to leadless, lead-free. That's true. That's true, Case. Yeah. If Big Clive says so, I tend to agree with him. I like watching his stuff. He has a nice channel. Okay, I'm kind of done with this stuff. I think the conclusion is... Okay, I have to solder this one correctly. Leadless solder is not meant for Quin doors. Oh, come on. Sure, whatever. Let's see how the old one performs. Still have a little bit left. Should be enough. Nice. So, back to 350. Yeah, I noticed he did that, and but I think he has one of the top models doing that. But still, it's amazing that he can make such nice videos on just the phone. Oh, look at that! It just sticks like magic. So this is the last of my old solder, but you can see the difference, right? Wow. Okay, that's that settles it for me. Oh, come on. I'm a big fan of heavy metal. Shouldn't be in nature. Oh, even though, okay, yeah. Okay, well, sure. Come on. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong, but you saw how easy those other pins went? And how horrible these look. Jesus. Yeah, okay. Let me try something real quick. I'm going to reinitialize the overhead camera. And I think that might take the delay away. Yeah, let's see if that helped. Okay, now let me reflow some little stuff here. Nope, not happening. Fine. Draw it through. Yeah, just, you know, pour it on there. Like pour the whole bottle on there. Yeah, I have a syringe too. It's Chinese, but I have I have two of these. And I've heard those are pretty good. They're the Econs. But I like using the little bottle with the little brush. Makes it easier. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see here. Oh wait, I haven't soldered this side yet. Uh-oh. Do I have enough soldering wire? That is the question. Just look at that. Oop. No, I'm starting to run out. I mean, just look at those joints with my old solder. So much better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy some new leaded solder too, because, well, just look at that. Oh well. Come on. There we go. Oh no. I'm not gonna make it. Nope. Not got the camera in your way and 50 people. Oh yeah, that's true. But I like this. What do you guys think of this new overhead setup? You can see it in the shot with the webcam, but I basically got an IP camera. It's 4K 30 FPS, and I have it zoomed in all the way. Oh damn it! I touched it. Sorry. It'll stop wobbling after a little while. It's basically hooked up with you know, I told you I was from the janky setups. It's basically a giant plank, or actually two planks made together, hanging from the roof. And, yep, that's the soldering cam. I think it's an improvement over last time, so... So yeah, this is one of the IP cameras I've been testing anyway, and after testing I didn't really have a purpose for it, but I think I found it. So let me try some of this. I bought this in China at some point. But I think that's actually better. There are no stupid solutions, just solution. That's true. On heavy bass music? Well, the camera would be fine, I think. It's just this danky construction that I wouldn't advise. Okay, so those have been soldered. There we go. So those can now separate. That's fine. And then we have a choice. We can either keep this board 5 volt only, or we can make it 5 volt and 12 volt compatible. And since I already have other boards which do the 12 volt part, I think I'm going to keep this 5 volt only. So I'm not going to solder this part, which is the DC-DC converter. And it saves $1.50, so that's nice. So we need a temperature sensor. Let's see where I have those. I thought I had those in here. Let me get one. There we go. The image froze. Okay, well. I think these might actually be okay with that, but I do have to say I haven't tested with that either. So, enough about me for a little bit. What are the plans you guys have this weekend? I know it's already half past, but, you know, anyone have anything fun planned? This board is called the QuinLED-Dig-Uno, and officially it's only for a single digitally addressable LED strip, so like WS2812B or APA 102, but if you use it with an ESP32, you can actually hook up 2 if you want to. But with digitally addressable LED strip, that is not that important, because you can just make one longer and then separate those parts and make different effects on those and stuff like that. But you can do it. Sorry, I asked you earlier, but not sure if you spotted it. Are you storing the YAML? No, I don't have a Git repository like Frank does, because a lot of stuff is just me experimenting around, and but I do share some of my configuration files and stuff like that on QuinLED.info to get people started with with the QuinLEDs at least. And I make tutorial videos for Node-RED and Home Assistant and stuff like that. So, oh shit! How can I do these small little things with this bad solder? Oh, I guess they don't need much. Let's break out the old man tool. It's a magnifying glass. Okay. Huh, that works. So this is a magnet. Does that work on camera? I don't know. That's so odd. Okay, whatever. I will make all the pages I have for this, so that's configuration guides, that's soldering videos, and everything you need, hardware guides, where you can order all the stuff. I will make all that available once it's done. And it's getting pretty close to done, so that should be soonish. I've already been working on the pages for the past week, so they're getting there. Oh, damn it. This cord isn't long enough. Back. Did I miss a lot? No, just further along soldering. So I think the only things left to do now are the large capacitors. Okay. Do I have those here? Capacitors large. Yes. And let's put one of these on there. Still experimenting with capacitors a little bit. And then we need a capacitor medium. How long have we been streaming? Do we know? Can I see this somewhere? 1 hour, 1.5 hours? Holy shit. You really forget the time while streaming. How do you have time for all this besides your work? And what's your day job like? That is a good question. I often don't have time for this besides my work. But I basically, like I said in the stream before, I can either choose to play a game at night or work on my videos. And, well, as long as I choose to work on my videos sometimes, you guys get videos. That's basically how it works. And things like PCB designing and stuff like that is an hobby of me, and I like doing it. And also making the videos and editing the videos. And it sometimes looks a little bit... Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. A little bit like work, but I definitely enjoying doing this as a hobby. So... where you might go out and cycle or walk or do something else as your hobby, I do this. And as I said, less gaming is more videos. Thanks, Q. Knowledge is key and you provide lots to the community. See you in another stream. Thanks for joining, Dominic. And of course, thank you for the kind words. Oh, wait, we don't actually need one of these. Let's see if I have a different cap. Should have. Appreciate your work. Thanks. That's always, well, appreciated on my side, I guess. That's part of why I like doing it, because I know it helps some people get started with how I looked at other videos to get started, and that keeps the ball rolling, I guess. 10 volts. Yes, sir. Oh, will that fit? Will the capacitor fit? No. No problems there. Okay. I might need to change that in the final revision. That's fine. How do you guys like the music? Not enough hardstyle. Yeah, that is true, I guess. I can't say that it isn't. But, I think the general public here doesn't like hardstyle that much. I don't know, maybe. Come on. Thanks, Dextron. Hardstyle's indeed too soft for this audience. Play more hardcore. You can do that on maybe your brother's stream, Emil. But I don't think he's gonna go for it either. Stupid legs. Ow. I need my old solder back. Good enough, I guess. It'll work. I'm playing Frenchcore at the moment. I got my own channel, Nachtbracht Recordings, for that. Used to live stream parties on YouTube. I might have actually caught one of those, or one or two, but it's not really my thing, so. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Dextron, but this is also some weird ass, and this is ROHS, so that also means there's no lead in there, I think. But yeah, I'm just gonna get some rolls of the old one. So, 53 people watching. Any other topics? As I said, what are you guys doing this weekend? Any fun plans? Okay. Very nice. Okay, well, this board is done. So as I've been streaming for 1 hour and 35 minutes, I'll keep going until the 2-hour mark, I think, because it's nice hanging around. And as I said, questions, let me know. I'll pay a bit more attention this time. Working out the kinks on the 3D printer right now. Hey, Jay After Dark. Yeah, 3D printing is nice, but it's a fickle, how do you say that? It's a fickle mistress. Once something doesn't align right, it's hard to get it right. What are you making and what for? Well, actually, let me show you. Let me turn off some studio lights. Skylights, front right. Okay, let me turn off all the studio lights. Not sure what will happen to the IP camera. Oh, okay. So you see this behind me? This glowing cord of lights, I guess. Those are addressable LEDs. And they are being controlled. Let me turn back some lights. This one, for instance. Yeah, those are being controlled by a QuinLED-Dig-Uno. And in the case of these are being controlled over the network using X lights. Are you going to show the end result? Well, yes and no. The end result is basically this board. And you connect addressable LED strip to it. And then you can see, you can control the addressable LED strip and make it do all kinds of patterns and stuff like that. You know what? Let me get one of those LED strips and I'll show you guys. Because the soldering's done. The only thing we need to do here is take a fuse. Because these boards are fused now. Let's take a 5 amp and insert that fuse. Oh, there we go. Board finished. And yeah, let me take one of the LED strips. I actually have to take the controller that's behind me because I made that one 12 volt compatible and I didn't make this one 12 volt compatible. So I will be right back. I just need to get something and I'll show you the end result. Okay? Okay, I'm back. Hold on. Need to hook up some stuff. Yes. I actually need that board. Christmas show off. Hold on guys, I'll be right back. Hello. Is that a car fuse? Yes, that's a ATO style car fuse. But since these boards are rated for 5 volt and 12 volt, I thought, okay, that's a very easy and cheap form factor. So why not use that instead of more expensive methods? Okay. So the difference between these two boards is that this one has the 5 volt to, or actually 12 volt to 5 volt regulator soldered on there, and this one doesn't. Okay, and that saves in component costs. And yeah. So we need to change this jumper to set it to 12 volt because I'm going to hook up a 12 volt LED strip instead of a 5 volt one. And then we need to change this jumper because I'm going to use it with ESP Home and Home Assistant instead of using it with X lights like I was doing right now. And it's a pain with these jumpers, but it's the only way I was able to think of to make it basically compatible with anything out there. So you can use it with fast LED, you can use it with Home Assistant, you can use it with X lights, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, the soldering can be a bitch, as you saw, but let me tell you, getting some good solder, it makes all the difference. Actually, let me turn on the lights again because this looks better with all the lights on. Yes, there we go. Okay, so I need to hook this up, and I know I made some strange stuff with this. So white is ground, which turns into black. Okay. And then red is blue, because that's very logical. And then these two can go into the data line. Don't worry, I'll be putting up tutorials and how-tos and soldering videos and articles on how to make this and what to do with it. All kinds of stuff like I did for the other boards, I'll be doing that for this board too. I have heard Volbeat before, and it's okay, it's not really my cup of tea, but yeah. Okay. Instead of the 8266 that was on the other board, let me put a ESP32 on this one. And as you can see, in theory, the single board is compatible with the 8266 and the ESP32. So that makes it very versatile, and you can use it for anything, whatever your budget suits. Can you explain what your board provides that just the D1 Mini can't do in its own? Yeah, basically, it's just an easier form factor, and instead of having to hook up all the wires externally, you can run all the power through the board. And it does all the GPIO layout and all that stuff for you, And it also has a level shifter, so that even if you're using a bit longer wires or longer LED strip, you won't get any corruption or other problems like that. So it's just basically a nicer form factor, and it's easier to use. That was the main goals. Also, I've broken out some GPIO pins and some 5 volt and 3.3 volt pins, so you can easily hook up different sensors, switches, inputs, whatever you'd like. Okay, let's connect the power. Oh, and it's also because of the fuse and the reverse polarity protection. You could also say it's a bit safer than without those, because especially with 5 volt strip, you're running a lot of amperage. And if anything goes wrong, that could easily create a fire. But by running it through the board, of course that has its limits, but that's about 15 amps, you would be at least fused, which you wouldn't be otherwise. Kits of the boards and the parts is hard, because if I did, I would have to buy the parts for the same price as you guys could buy them, and then I'd have to import them, so I'd have to pay import and tax, and then I'd have to sell them again, so I'd have to pay tax again, and by the time it would arrive at your doorstep, making one of these would be just as expensive as buying the components for 5. And that's why I don't really sell kits yet. I really want to figure out a way how to do that so that it helps people actually, and not just makes it more expensive to get one. Yeah. Okay. Who's waiting for the magic smoke? Less magic smoke, yes. No, that's one of the intentions of the board. That's correct. Okay, so this is a 2815 LED strip. And as you can see, it has 144 LEDs. And because it's a 2815 and not a 2812, it runs on, I think you can actually see it on the camera, it runs on 12 volt and not 5 volt. And that has some advantages in regards to voltage drop and stuff like that. Why am I dropping frames? What the kind of stupid thing is that? Weird. Well, I guess it's time to end soon. Anyway, let me show you this. So let's hook this up. Let's see, I set it to 12 volt. Yep. Okay, well, it's already doing a pattern, as you can see. But this is a pattern that... let me turn off the lights again. That's the nice thing of remote controllable lights using QuinLED. Yes, but it prevents access to the USB port on purpose, because you don't want to hook up USB while it's also connected to an external power supply. So the way I did it now is that you will have to take the ESP off the board to do the initial programming once using USB, and then after it's on the board you can just use OTA or something like that. So let me zoom out the camera a little bit, because we can do that. A little bit more. There. Let's see if that focuses, because there's not a lot of light. Let me turn on the lights real quick so that it can focus. There we go. And now it should keep that focus. So that's fine. Oh no, where's my browser? There we go. Okay, but what we can do is, if I look up this module in Home Assistant, Integrations, ESP, so I can do another rainbow effect where you can see that effect a bit more clearly. And I can now change these effects in Home Assistant. So basically this board enables you to use all kinds of, well, addressable LED strip. And as I said, in this case, it's a 12 volt strip, but it can do 12 volt and 5 volt. And you can use all kinds of patterns and stuff like that. And this is, I see three usage ways. I see three ways that you can use it. One is using ESP Home like this and Home Assistant, and you can toggle these based on events or automations or stuff like that. And after that, I see you can use some raw Arduino code with fast LED. You can use all kinds of nice effects, or you can actually trigger those using ESP Home. And the other one you saw me using earlier, that's using X-Lights or Resolve or Resolume, I don't know, some other stuff that uses E1.31 protocol, where you can send all kinds of effects over the network and control it in real time over the Wi-Fi. And you can, well, I'm going to show a lot of projects doing either of those things in the future, what you can do with all these things. Would this setup be suitable for Ambilight? Well, if you can feed the signal into an ESP32 or an ESP8266, yes, but I don't know what GPIO pins you would need for that. So that's a maybe. But let's see what other effects we have. I think we have, we have a faster rainbow. I'm not sure how the image is with the IP camera for this kind of stuff, but okay. And then we have, I don't know, we can do a twinkle. No, that's not very exciting. Twinkle. Nope. Yeah, most of these effects aren't very exciting on a strip. Oh, here we go. I guess this is for your hardstyle party. I don't know. Or we can make it do this. And then we can change the color of that actually. Oh, I have too many LEDs set. Whee! Yeah, or stuff like this. This is nice. So that's again the rainbow pattern, but then in a kind of different configuration where it shows a different pattern. Rave mode has been enabled, yeah man. Oh wow, the IP camera really isn't keeping up with the frame rate. All these effects are at least 60 frames per second and very fluid, but you're not getting that on the camera. Let me add a little bit of light, maybe it'll do that. Garage lights. Maybe like that. Just a link to where the string can be found would be nice. I actually don't have those links set up yet. But don't worry, in the next coming weeks there will be videos about how to build the QuinLED boards and where you can get these LED strips and the differences between 5 volt and 12 volt and what you need in what situation, and like 30, 60 or 144 LEDs per meter. Do you want water protection on those or not? Lots of different questions for lots of different situations, and I'll try and answer those in the coming weeks or months in videos I'll be making about this stuff. And well, I think unless you guys have any burning questions, that is also a good time to finish the stream. We built a board. We're not using that one. I'll test it later because I need a 12 volt for this strip. We built a board, and well, this is the latest prototype of the QuinLED-Dig-Uno, so digital LEDs instead of analog LEDs like I'm using for my studio lighting and stuff like that. And well, expect more of this in the future, including where you can order the boards and where you can order the boards like this, and where you can order all the components and soldering guides and all kinds of stuff. So we have a few minutes left until it's exactly 2 hours. You guys have any questions? How long can an LED strip become? Well, Basically, it's not unlimited, but 10 meters or even more is no problem. It depends on two factors. One, the total amount of LEDs, but if you're using an ESP32 like that, that goes into the thousands. And two is the voltage drop over the strip. But if you use multiple points to inject voltage, so you don't get too much voltage drop, they can actually become pretty long. As I said, 10, 15 meters, no problem. And you can do that with one controller. Okay, any other questions? Do you own any digital RGB? Emil, that's a good question. No, I don't. I own analog versions of RGB plus CCT, as I call it, CW and WW. I don't think there is a digital variant of RGB plus CCT that I know of. What strips should one buy? Well, as I've tried to say, that really depends on the situation. And we can talk about that later on the Discord. I like these 144 LEDs per meter strips, but those are also the most expensive and can't be the longest unless you inject a lot of voltage or at least use 12 volt like this one. So yeah, I'll have examples on my QuinLED.info page in a bit. I'm still working on those pages. So this strip is 1 meter. I have it curled up here, but it's 1 meter in length in total. Let me hold it up in front of the webcam. So yeah, 1 meter, and it has 144 LEDs in that 1 meter. I'm going to be working on some QuinLED-Dig-Uno soon. Any heads up for anything I need to be extra aware of? No, just watch the soldering video, and if you have all the right components, it should just work. There's example configurations on QuinLED.info, and I'm wondering what kind of MOSFETs did you buy? Because I've been having some reports that the Chinese sellers have been screwing with people again, and they've been sending out-of-spec MOSFETs. So I hope you got the RLZ44Ns. Those are still working well. But the other types I've delisted. And yeah, examples of the ESP home config. For the Deca, those are on QuinLED.info. And I was working last night on doing them for the Dig-Unos. So that will come. Can I have 5 meter of that strip you have? Oh, you bought the MOSFETs and a tester. Very good. Yes, you can have 5 meters of this strip, no problem, but they do come in 1 meter parts. And you'll just have to desolder the wires and then solder it together. And after that, you'll have to make sure that every meter you have some extra power wires where you inject plus and minus again. The single wires will continue, but you just have to make sure you inject extra power because it cannot carry all the power through the strip, but if you provide the power, it'll work just fine. Those are some good questions, guys. Any other questions? You've got me live right now, so... Okay, I turned on the lights because I think the IP camera isn't liking all this changing light. Which of your PCB boards would you recommend to drive a single channel LED strip of warm white? That would be the Quad or the Deca. And if it's a single channel, just go with the Quad. That has 4 channels. But the power handling, it can handle quite a lot of power. It's the smallest, and it basically does everything that the Deca does too. So, yeah. Ruben, the Quad would be fine. And if you're looking at making a very long strip, consider using multiple channels. Look at the wiring and wire hookup guides on QuinLED.info, because if, for instance, you want to do a 10-meter analog strip, it can be interesting to do like 2 5 meters or even 4 2.5 meters, and then spread them over the channels. Sorry about that. Because that just has some practical advantages, so that you don't overload one MOSFET, but spread the load to 4 MOSFETs or 2. So the IRLZ44Ns should be good, Jeff. Let me know how that turns out. Well, I think you will, but let me know. I hope I can soon start on building some Deca and a couple of digs. No more questions though. Okay, well then I did my work. What do you use for the case? For a case? Well, I've actually been working with Tarbox on a 3D printed case, but normally I have these boards. Hold on. It's time to stop, I guess. Normally I have these boards out of harm's way, so I don't really use a case. But they are fully prepared for it, because they have screw holes in all the right places, and yeah. So using them with a case, no problem, but I generally don't. I have some in some generic project boxes though, but nothing more than that. Okay. It's time to stop smoking. Well, I wish that was the problem, but it's not. Okay, well, we've passed the 2-hour mark, but there's still 51 people watching. So ask questions, or otherwise, I guess it would be time to stop the stream. What's the maximum length you would suggest between a QuinLED and an LED strip? That all depends on amperage, so how much power is the strip going to use, and, well, I guess you could say wattage, but then the voltage is important, because between 12 volt and 24 volt, 24 volt uses half the amperage, so it can survive voltage drop for longer wires better. That's why I advocate 24 volt analog LED strips instead of 12 volt. I have a wiring guide on QuinLED.info, which gives some suggestions, like I'm going to use 5 amps. So let's say that's 5 amps times 24. That's 120 watts of LED strip. That's quite a bit. And I'm going to put it 5 or 7 meters away. What kind of wire thickness do I need to be able to transport that distance? How do you power all of your QuinLEDs? It varies. This one is powered by a normal adapter, 12 volt adapter brick. But I like to use open frame power supplies. Don't have one right here. Hold on. And I like to use these LRS series Meanwells that they're very stable, they're very safe, they're well built, they're well designed, and they provide a very stable output power. And I use most of my LED strips are powered using one of these. So either 5 volt, 24 volt, or actually this one is 36 volts for some cob LEDs. And yeah, I try to centralize my LED controllers so I can use one power supply for multiple controllers and strips. Have you seen the new Xiaomi temp display I sent to you? Do you mean the e-ink one, Peter? Because I got that one in, and as it turns out, it's actually not a full Xiaomi. But I ordered another one, and I'll be doing a video about that in a little bit later in the future. But currently, do not order the e-ink one, because that one will not work with ESP Home right now. So, because it's a different device. How much milliamps should they be outputting at least? Well, that depends on the strip and what you're going to use it for. For instance, this strip is 12 volt, and if it uses... okay, let me calculate that real quick. So if you have a strip that uses 50 watt, but it uses 12 volt, it's 4.1 amps. Okay, but if you have a strip that's 12 watts but uses 5 volts, it's 10 amps. So the amount of amperage your power supply needs to be depends on what your strip can use. So as I said, try and get the highest voltage, although with digital LEDs that's a little bit different. But with analog LEDs, I really advise 12 volt, or 24 volt, Jesus. And with that, you need to calculate the amperage. Questions are good. I'm putting back on my headset back on. How much, I had that one. Do the power supplies have any overheating issues on long strips? It all depends on the power supply, the amperage rating, and how much amperage that strip's going to use. Because if you have a 30 LED strip per meter, or you have a 120 LEDs per meter strip for 10 meters, that has a very different power requirement and different amperage. And so you should get a power supply that's rated for the correct amperage. Or actually, the max rating of this LED strip should be 75% rating of the power supply, so that the power supply always has a little bit of headroom and not running 100% all the time. How do you control the problem where two people use different input methods to control a certain function in Home Assistant? I'm not really sure I follow. You mean like setting a physical switch and doing it in software also? Or what do you mean? Let's take a little different pattern. There we go. Okay. I think in that case, I would make the physical switch only do something when it's either in an on or off position, but I'd predetermine those positions. And then whether someone uses the web interface or the app or whatever to switch something or not, it really wouldn't matter. But that would mean that if the switch was on, but someone in the app turned it off, the switch would stay in the on position and you'd have to turn it off and on again to actually switch it. But I guess that's just a usage thing. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really run into that yet because I use very little physical switches. Everything just triggers on its own, so... Okay. 2 more minutes. That's it, guys. 2 more minutes. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out, so... Any questions? Maybe about the boards or stuff like that? Or about other stuff I do, my server build, or... yeah. Any guesses when Ryzen 3000 is coming out? I really hope it's soon. I want to upgrade all this stuff. Do you use any physical dimmers to dim your LEDs? Nope. I just use, well, yeah, I use physical dimmers. You mean dimmer switches. I use physical dimmers, but those are QuinLEDs. So I use those. I do not use any dimmer switches, no. Replaced on-off switches for momentary switch. Yeah, that could be a good solution too, Case. So if you use a momentary switch, it will always line up with what's happening in Home Assistant. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Switch needs to talk to the automation, not the device. Yeah, that's... well, it can work. Using the momentary switch could be a good solution for that. I see the situation where two people on the opposite side of the room fight for the right to the light to the room. I don't know about that, Emil. New server build incoming. Now you have my interest. Well, yeah, I've been working on that. I have lots more components in, so I might make a video about the components, but as I said, I need to wait for Ryzen 3000 to upgrade my desktop, and then what's in my desktop goes into my server, and takes a little bit. If you dim the lights, does the power consumption drop? Yes. PWM dimming, or actually dimming using these digital LED strips, which also does PWM, is 100% power efficient. So if you dim it to 0%, they don't use any power. If you dim it to 5 or 10%, they use 5 or 10% of the power. Where are you guys in the world? Denmark here. Well, I am in the Netherlands. Sweden, cool. I think I'm going to call it Road to Ryzen 3000, but it's having a slow start because, well, without the Ryzen 3000, I can't really do much. Breda area, cool. I'm near Den Bosch. How many servers do you have? Currently I have 2. I have my storage server, which is running Ubuntu and ZFS. Okay, I don't have 2. And then I have an ESX server running some virtualization stuff and for work. And then I have true Proxmox machines, but those aren't always on 24 hours a day for testing and other purposes. US Wisconsin. Cool. Groningen. Oh, you're still Dutch. Nice. The dirt road to Ryzen on a donkey. It's not that, but yeah, it'll get there. Don't worry. I'm not worried. I just want to have it. I want to play with it. And do the benchmarks and show my Ryzen 1000 to Ryzen 3000 change and how that makes a difference in video rendering, if it does, and should you buy it for that, and all kinds of stuff I want to do with that. Oh, Germany, cool. Chicago, Illinois area. Chicago, is that Illinois? I guess, I don't know. What's your day job? Okay, that's a good question. I work in IT, and I generally work as a senior backup and storage consultant. So let's say you have 600 terabytes or a petabyte of data you want to back up, a few thousand VMs, stuff like that. I do a few different backup software. I've been using Veritas NetBackup for 15 years, for instance, but I also do Commvault and Rubrik and Backup Exec, Arcserve, and all kinds of other stuff. And I can design you a backup solution, implement it, and if there's an issue, troubleshoot it. One of my main things I do is performance-related networking and storage. And yeah, I basically do consultancy work in that area. Oh, you live in Germany, but you are Dutch? Okay. I thought I had a German follower. That's an interesting question. And then after that, we're really going to stop. How did you get to my channel? What video or where did you find it? Like on a forum or on Reddit or on tweakers.net, or did you just happen to find it on YouTube for a certain subject? So you came in on what video? How did you find me? I'd like to know. Love watching your LAN party series. Behind the scenes were great. Thanks, Jeff. That's nice to hear. Because that was very different than what I normally do. And yeah, so thanks. I need a good backup solution. So maybe you can make an up-to-date video for that. Look into my DIY cloud series if you want to design it yourself. I'm German, but I live in Sweden. Good enough? Sure, that's fine. Dr. Z's. Okay, yeah. Oh, more Dr. Z's. I followed you after your MikroTik videos. Oh, wow. So you've been part of the channel since day one, basically, those videos were bad. Ugh. I think they're better now. So I might make more videos in the future. So about MikroTik and networking and stuff like that. I found you because of your camp zone. Yeah, oh, camp zone video. Okay, cool. YouTube recommendations. Oh, nice. Dr. Z's. Found the address on the bathroom stall. I don't think I've ever been near you, Jeff, so I don't know. I tripped over your network cables at Camp Zone. I think that's how I met you. Yeah, well, you've known me way before this channel ever was a thing. So, Dr. Z's, Home Assistant Homies, and Squirrel Worlds. Yeah, okay. Cool, nice to hear you like the Home Assistant stuff. What do you think about Veeam? Veeam is okay if you design it properly and use it for the right workloads. It has a lot of caveats which aren't immediately apparent, and like deduplication and stuff like that. So well designed in smaller environments, I think it's okay, but I'm not a giant fan of it myself. So it's not bad, but you know, YouTube recommendations, nice. Okay, Dr. Z's again. Okay, cool. ESP prints. Okay, nice. Cool, so lots of Dr. Z's. Well, I think I'm actually going to arrange with him to do a live show with him again about these boards when they're all finished and everything's up and running. But yeah, we'll see about that. Is this good enough for kitchen under cab lighting? Well, yeah, you can use analog for that or digital. If you want to do all these crazy effects, you need the digital stuff. And otherwise, I'd actually recommend using analog stuff because you can get higher quality, higher CRI light for that. So in a kitchen, you don't just want generic, cheap $5 white LED strip. I would suggest you look into high CRI LED strip, because in your kitchen, I think you'll be thanking me. So, yeah. Let me see why I'm dropping frames. I don't understand. Okay. Road to... Okay, hold on. Let me do something real quick. Jesus. Road to Ryzen. Okay, cool. So actually someone who found my channel because of Road to Ryzen. That's nice to know. Take a look at your cloud series. I thought you had a series already. If it's still up to date, that's awesome. Well, that's mostly why I went with building it myself solution. And I give an example of how you can do that. So yeah. Looking to update my network, MikroTik or Ubiquiti? Yeah, both are fine. I've used both in the past. I used to switch every now and again between those two brands. But yeah, as I said, both are good brands, and with either you'll be fine. MikroTik needs a little bit more hands-on work than Ubiquiti does, but yeah. Lockzone has great CRI LED strips. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Okay. Been looking at your webpage, good information. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you. There's lots of nights that went into that one. Did you ever finish the desk? I feel there wasn't an end video. No, don't mention the desk. Can I get away? Oh my god. Okay, the desk is one of those projects I start and, well, it's not done yet. It's not there yet, and I have been working on it the last few weeks, and I got some new... I ran into a problem. I have very sensitive eyes, and the stuff I wanted to use on the woods, I turned out to be allergic for. So I needed to look for different stuff, but all that didn't give me the coloring that I liked. So that's where it kind of stranded, and it's been over a year, but I have reinvigorated that project, and the ultimate overkill desk will return, and I will actually be testing out some new product that I can put on the board, which I think was recommended to me by Salty Automations, tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. And if that works, that might be one of the projects I'll be doing this summer. So, yeah. Do you think Ubiquiti will eventually bring a dedicated Home Assistant box to the market? No. They will not be bringing a Home Assistant box to the market. And if you mean something else with HA, maybe. I don't know. No pressure, just asking. Desk 1, Quinder 0. Yeah. I succeed at a lot of things. Fail at some. It's okay, I'll try again. I'll make it work. Okay. So let me see why I was dropping frames here. I don't understand. Oh well. Ubiquiti is not sponsoring Home Assistant anymore. Oh, I didn't know they did. I think one of their developers worked at Ubiquiti, as I saw on Frank's stream, so maybe that was why. In one of your home network walkthrough videos, House, I noticed normal Jira sockets outside. Were they temporary or actually Jira out there sockets? They are, I don't know if they're Jira, but they are meant for outside. They have a little clip on them that you can lock them with, and then they're weather tight. So I think those are what you mean. They weren't in there maybe during some of my building videos that I did while building up the house, but they got replaced with that later on. pfSense could be a good choice, yeah. Okay guys, well, it's been 2 hours and 21 minutes now, and I think this was a very successful stream. And although there's still 47 people watching, and I'm thankful for anyone who watches this and watching my videos, it really makes my life, and that's why I make the videos because I like making videos, but having you guys watch it is definitely very important. So thank you for watching this stream, and thank you for watching me solder one of these QuinLED-Dig-Unos. As I said, the board design is done. I'm working on all the web pages and getting all the guides and stuff like that finished. And yeah, that's going to be it for this stream. Thanks for us letting hang out. Well, it's nice. I like hanging out with you guys. And if you haven't joined the Discord yet, join the Discord server. And the link is in the description of most of my videos. So yeah, going back to watch this from the start. Sure, Ray. I don't think the archive will be in line immediately, but I'll try and get it up there tonight. Cheers, better than Eurovision. My life is done. Thank you. Thanks for your work, and make the boards available for us. I will do so, don't worry. Next coming weeks should be good. I have some other videos I'm working on, but they'll get there. They'll get there. Cool. Thanks, guys. I'm hitting the end stream button now. So, thank you. Bye-bye.